Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick update on my Apple Pig leather. I did not do an unboxing. I started to do an unboxing video, but I quickly realized that I had to stop doing my video and I was going to go ahead and pick it up later. And so this is a wide, like Midori size notebook. I had him customize it. And this is the Duke Duck leather with Apple Pig. He is on Etsy. The link to his shop is in my description below. He also will customize anything for you. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a drawing, like a sketch drawn up with exact measurements if you get anything customized. Now he does have stuff in his shop that is already pre-measured and like he has Hobonichi Week size. He has all the sizes that you want. It's just that he makes them to the dimensions that he's used to making them. So if you don't want them to be cut really wide, or if you want your book to sit nice and flush, you need to make sure that you have those measurements and let him know that in the message in the Etsy. So let's go ahead and look at my Duke Duck. Now this was ordered in 2023, in early 2023. And this Duke Duck looks a lot different from the Duke Duck that I had in 2018. And I'm not sure when he changed that. So this is what mine looks like. And you get this, which is, I use them as coasters around the house. So you get a sample. And then you do get a wrap strand. And it also has his logo on it. So if you can see the little Apple Pig. I'm not sure if you can really see. The color is showing up a lot darker on my camera than it is in real life. It is a burgundy color leather, and it used to be brown. And I'm going to try to show you some comparison leathers that you guys might be used to seeing, so that way you can kind of gauge what the shade of this will be. So you get your sample. Now let me talk about the sample piece and the color of notebook that I had in 2018. This is what the Duke Duck leather was. It was a completely different leather. I'm not sure why the color has changed from brown to red. And I think if I would have known that that happened, I would have ordered the Naughty Fox leather. And just because I like that color better than this cranberry color. It's a nice leather. I'm just not into this color for a journal. I'm more of a brown tan, like I navigate towards those leathers, and so that's what I kind of stick to. And so that was the old Duke Duck in 2018, and as you can see, it was more pliable. It was different. It had the fuzzy nap on the back. It also had in this one, it looks the exact same. Here's the front of it. It's a pebbled piece, and then on the back of it, you can see that it's very treated. So the reason why I had to wait on this and not give an update on it right away is because when I pulled it out of the packaging, I was hit with an overwhelmingly strong scent of chemical. It wasn't leather smelling. So I had to let it air out for over a week, and in doing so, that helped me to be able to be around the leather. Now, and I'm sure, and it's, the smell has kind of dissipated, so it's just the treatment of the leather that you need to probably let this leather air out when you receive it. It will be very strong. In my opinion, it was the strongest leather that I've ever received, and I've purchased from many shops, and so it's just the way that this was processed. So anyways, I did get the wide. This is not the notebook that I measured for this. The notebook that I measured actually is going to be, I didn't cut it down yet, but it's my Stology, and since it has a thinner spine, and this one has room to actually add more in it. I'm going to cut my Stology to 5 inches wide, and that should fit nice and perfect, because if you look at this, how it falls back, and I will have at least a half an inch to grow. So my Stology will be cut different. And I did add this clasp. This is just an added cost. Now for the base price of what you would receive is you would receive just the leather with it stitched if you want it stitched, and an elastic closure. And now the elastic closure is going to be just like this. So you're going to pick out your elastic color, your stitching color, and your leather. And then if you want add-ons, which is what I did, you would pay for your add-ons separately. So the first thing that I added on was super pockets. I love his pockets. Let me take this out so that you can see the character of this leather. Now this is a super pocket on the left. I still bought the super pockets because they come as a group. You pay for them, and then he makes 2 of them. So you get one on the left and you get one on the right. And what you get is, let me see if I can find a card real quick. What you get on the right hand side is you get a secretary pocket. You get 2 actually, and so you get a smaller one in the front, which is perfect, and then you get a bigger one. He also he opens this up so that way you can store extra photos, ephemera, whatever in here, and it's gonna stay nice and secure because when you close this up, it's going to face the spine and it's going to be closed up. And then on this side, he's got the nicest card pockets on the market. And the reason why he has the nicest ones, in my opinion, is because whatever leather you choose, he will thin down the pockets for you. So he takes this to his leather splitter and he figures out how thick the leather needs to be, because this is cut thicker than the pockets are. So that just kind of gives you an example of how he thins this down. He doesn't thin down the actual leather on the back unless you ask him to. So just to let you know that this leather piece right here will be how it comes from the market that he buys from. And also, because I ordered super pockets, this was supposed to look exactly like this, but I asked him to sew it down, and in doing that I knew I would lose this, and I knew I would lose this, but I was okay with that because I needed to use this as an anchor for my book so that I could slide my book in and out. And so that was my choice to do it. I didn't want holes in it. I didn't want holes punched for the elastics like they do here. They punch holes for the elastics. I did not want that in this book. And so that's what comes standard, is the elastics. So what I opted for was just the secretary pockets on the front, and then for this to be sewn down. And then I ordered the pen loop, which it is cut rather large. So you would have to really have a pen that has this, like the clip on it, and then you have to clip it to it, or one that is really thick. Let's see. I do have this Pilot Dr. G or Pilot Grip Dr. Grip Gel, and that fits rather comfortably without having to really use the clip. So just be mindful of that, and if you want it to be smaller, please ask him to make it smaller. And then this strap is the closure that I opted for. I'm going to show you the back of this, which is like a wrinkly piece of leather. Now there are 4 different closures in his shop, and I'm going to show you one of them. If you order any wallets, you automatically get the magnetic clasp. That's my favorite clasp because it's so nice and easy, and this goes right into my purse. And this is just how it comes standard. So you can get this closure. That's a standard closure for all the wallets. So then you would get this on any of the TNs, the string. And if you want something different, then those are additional costs. So if you order a TN and you want, like if you say I want a magnetic closure on my TN, I believe that would be an added cost. I had to add this on. that was an added cost for that closure. And then the other closure that he makes is a snap closure, kind of like this, but he uses the snap. He uses a better snap in my opinion, and he uses a snap, if you guys are familiar with Eternal Leather Goods, that big, like it's an industrial size snap, and it would be, you would see the metal right at the back. So be mindful though, if you do order a snap like that, ask him to take 2 pieces of leather and stitch them together like this one is. So that way your strap is nice and doubled up for the snap. Just ask him to do that. Just show him photos, give measurements, and be very specific in your photos and everything. So that will help him when you do a custom. But this is the leather that I got, and let me just let you know that every piece feels really different. This feels like it has some type of coating on it, so it feels even different from this, and it just might be because this is starting to patina more than this is. And this actually feels like a matte. It doesn't feel glossy. It feels very matte feeling, and it feels like a saddle leather. And then on the insides, because these were thinned down, these actually even feel different. This leather feels a lot, it feels the same, but it feels different in a way that it's soft and more pliable. And it just feels nice and smooth, even though I can feel some of the texture on the leather, it still feels pretty smooth. Now, if you guys can see this pocket, I don't know if you can see the difference. This has some sort of dye on it. I really like this and how it looks. This reminds me of the old leather that he used to have that was called Rose Queen. And I'm wondering if this is supposed to be Rose Queen, the new Rose Queen, because this is not brown at all. And it is more of a cranberry color or a maroon color or a dark burgundy kind of a color. And the Rose Queen used to have some brown and red in it, and that was another alternative to Duke Duck. And let me get that sample back out. So all the leathers that I have purchased from him, okay, so here's all the leathers that I've purchased from him. This is Mr. Potato. This was tanned in the sun. It comes as a very, like, kind of a nude color. And then this is Honey Beagle. It's very soft. And this is also patinated in the sun. And it turns into, it also comes as a lighter color. And it turns into a dark orangey type of a color. This is the new Duke Duck. It looks burgundy in my opinion, and then this is the older Duke Duck. I don't know what year he changed this from, because people even from a year ago were still receiving this brown color, so I wasn't sure. I didn't even know that it changed. So those are the samples that I have, and then I do have a Cave Art. I don't know where my sample is for Cave Art, but this is what I have. This is my wallet, and I touch it all the time, and I sit and kind of like rub my hands all over my leather so that they have a nice patina on them. And so I've spent some time doing that on this leather, and as you can see, it has shined up really nicely, and this one should do the same thing. It should, because all of his leathers are supposed to do that. That's one thing that he talks about, that the more time that you spend touching your notebook and your leather, the more it's going to shine up like this, and the more it's going to patina. So that's a characteristic that I absolutely love. And if you love that characteristic too, you're going to love his shop. So let me just put everything back in that I took out. So I did want to show you the different colors. So if you all are familiar with the Traveler's Notebook Company, this is the camel, and yes, this is 5 years old, and it has a lot of patina on it, so it's a lot darker than when it originally came. But this is the camel, And then this is the brown. So hopefully you can see that it isn't black. My camera is really showing dark for some reason. It's showing a lot darker than it is in person. This is the brown. And then for those of you who are familiar with the Chic Sparrow brands, this is the Bennett. So that's the Austin Bennett, and that was the darkest of the browns. They do have, like the buttered rum. And I know they changed the names, but they had the buttered rum and then they had the toffee. So this was the darker of all of them, of all the brown colors. So as you can see, this is considerably very burgundy. And I was kind of disappointed that it was burgundy because like I said, if I would have known that this leather had changed colors, I would have went with Naughty Fox. But he did a phenomenal job on it, and it is for my journal. So it is for a specific journal, and he stitched it very perfectly. He's really good at his work, and he also hid this strap. But you have to be careful though too, because he hid that strap. You do lose out just a tiny bit when it comes to putting the back of your notebook in, because if you can see, there's an indentation where the strap is. So you would just have to cut the back of your notebook a little bit shorter than the front if you want it to be more like very flush. And when I say flush, I mean like towards the edge of the notebook, giving space for the stitching lines. And so, yeah, that's my Apple Pig Duke Duck. So be mindful that the Duke Duck is no longer brown. I don't know when that happened, but be very mindful about that. And ask for photos of his leathers, for updated photos of his leathers, because the Duke Duck on the website, it still looks brown. And I don't see that this photo was updated. So I'm going to have to ask him about that, if that's really for Rose Queen, the leather that he had for Rose Queen, or if this is just his new Duke Duck that took over for the old Duke Duck that he had in the past. So thank you guys for watching, and you guys all have a blessed day. Bye.